All right. These are the generations of brother Jared, who is called Achee, in his departure from the great tower, and travels into the country that is furthest east of the land of his nativity, and the account of his vision before the altar upon the mount. These are the generations of the valiant holy men who fought on the side of the Lord and on the side of the Irkadishoy in the war in heaven. Keisha, you don't have to do all that. Adam was the father of Seth, who was the father of Enos, who was the father of Kenan, who was the father of Mahal, who was the father of Jared, who was the father of Enoch, who was the father of Methuselah, who was the father of Lamech, who was the father of Noah, who was the father of Shem, who was the father of Lud, who was the father of Achee, who was the brother of Jared. Keisha, do you know where my stand is? You know that extra stand that I got?
Oh,
the black one.
I think that might be with your tablet.
With my tablet?
Yeah.
It probably would be better if I had it, honestly.
Yeah.
So that we can put the stand up and sit it somewhere while I'm reading.
Yes.
I think that would be good. So we're in verse 3. The name Achee, by interpretation, means the brother, for he was the brother of all the living. And he lived with the Irkadishoy, which is the holy angels, as did Enoch, the seventh from Adam. And much of the time no man knew where he was, for all his doings were with the Irkadishoy at the time of the great tower. He walked with the Lord, and was his companion. But the wicked called him a wild man, and they greatly feared Achee. So powerful was his word, that the Irkadishoy obeyed him, and the elements responded to his righteousness. His word was strong, and his prayers much sought after by those righteous of his acquaintance. But the wicked would stand afar off, and send Jared to seek him. And the Lord had respect for Achee, as he was large and a mighty man, but gentle of spirit, and gifted with a mild and kind manner. And now it came to pass in the days of Noah, that the war among the watchers and the wicked waged strong, it being known as the war in heaven. This is talking about the first war in heaven. I know a lot of the times the Bible really doesn't get into it, but these are part of the scriptures that were taken out. All right. I don't know if it'll stay, hopefully. All right. So this is the book that we are in. And let's see. Hello, by the way. At it being known as the war in heaven. And Noah was an albino, and was both shunned and feared by the people, he being the first such person to live on the earth. As the sins of the people became more and more wicked before the Lord, and as the war grew more and more intense, Noah withdrew to dwell on a mountain range on the south of a great valley. And this valley was many days' journey across, and no man knew the extent of the length of it. And it came to pass that Noah dwelt among the Irkadishoy, and Japhetiel loved him. I think I said it right. Japhetiel, which means I think it's the angel of fruit, and his name or her name means the delight. And Shamael obeyed him, and that's the angel over the animals, and it means the work. And Kalyal loved the sound of his voice, and that was the angel over the fountains of the waters, and it means to live. And Abariel visited his abode and hovered about him, and this is the angel over the clouds, and it means passing clouds. But Noah grieved, and his cries were heard day and night for many years before the flood. Verse 6. And it came to pass that Shem was born in the midst of this, the most dire grieving of his father. Now Shem was a mild man, and gentle in his ways, and the grief of his father had a profound effect upon him. And Shem beheld the wars of the wicked, and the sins of the Darshoi, or I think I'm saying it right. It means the fallen angels, or Nephilim, however you want to say it. for many years, and cried unto the Lord, but found no relief. And it came to pass in those days, Noah began to be old, not old unto death, but old as to the strength of his body. And his son looked out for his care, and attended him in all his doings. 8. One evening Shem went looking for his father, and he found him lying in agony upon a hillside, overlooking the great valley below. And he hurried to the side of his father to comfort him. And Noah was mourning the awful scene in the valley below, where the smoke of burning was rising, and the cries of the people could be heard. And Shem said, Father, Father. And Noah said, Here I am, my son. And Shem said, Father, come home and rest for a while. Then Noah sat up, and leaning upon a tree, and pointing at the valley below, expounding to his son all the doings of the children of the watchers, as they passed through the land in their wicked and violent pursuits. These children of the Decadashoi are called the Nephilim. And Noah unfolded before the eyes of his son all the intentions of God. All the intentions, where was I at? All the intentions of God in the creation, and all his righteousness and holy purpose for all the hosts of heaven that were handed down from the days of Enoch on the heavenly tablets. And he opened before his eyes the sufferings and sorrows of the Messiah. And it came to pass that Shem was angry at the Decadashoi, or the fallen angels, because of the suffering of his father and the sorrows of the Lord. But he held his peace and determined in his heart to please God and to do his bidding in all things. Now from this time forth, Shem began to call upon the name of the Lord in great earnest. Keisha, come on. What are you doing? Yeah, that's fine. Do you want these? Because I don't think I'll be able to eat them. You gave me 2 of those hot dogs, so. Okay, and those are pretty big too. Now, verse 12. Now from this time forth, Shem began to call upon the name of the Lord in great earnest. And it came to pass that the carnage and violent deeds increased, insomuch that Noah no more went to look down in the valley. And the Lord caused the Decadashoi to pass them by. And the sorrow of these days became sore upon Noah and his sons. And it came to pass that the Lord said to build an ark. And they dwelt in the high country with Kabodiel, which means glory of God, and that's the angel over the trees. In abundance. Shem, Ham, and the others all built the ark under the guidance of Noah, and no man even knew what transpired with their task of building. Now there had been in the days preceding the flood violent quaking of the earth, and the animals had changed their normal habits. I'm going to open to give more, to expound more. I'm going to go to the Pseudepigrapha, which is by Charlesworth, and grab that real quick. I think it's better when I have the live one, because then I can just upload the video to my profile and I don't have to keep putting it in all these segments.
That makes sense.
Because I can only do like 10-minute segments or increments or whatever. And I'd rather not do
that.
Yeah, not really. I don't want to do that. I think, can you get me something to sit this on? It needs like a something sturdy.
Something sturdy.
Yeah.
What about
How do I change that?
Will this work? This work?
Probably. Let's try it.
Okay.
How do I take this thing off? There we go. Thank you, Mimi. There we go. All right. Let me put my fingerprint on here. And then I'm going to And can I get my mouse, please? And thank you. I'll need the little pad thing too.
Okay, I'm gonna run some more when I sound good.
Thank you.
We're not here because we won't be loud.
No, you guys can be in here because we're studying together. So we're gonna do it just like we do it when nobody's on my live. So people can choose to stay or not. It doesn't really matter to me. I need to open pseudoprographa. Let's see. Adobe Cloud Storage. I have all this cybersecurity books and stuff. And I had it open. I wish I would have closed it so I didn't have to deal with that, but
It's okay, Mama.
I know.
Yeah, it's,
I see.
people are kind of can do things not that.
No, this is me. Me not closing my stuff. And I should be closing my stuff.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
I didn't close the door. Anyway, the cat's messing with my stuff.
Oh, remember that one? I haven't even went over Keisha, we haven't even went over Nama and Nimrod. I haven't read that one yet, but remember they said that we had to do this one.
First.
It's this one,
And
then Enoch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Enoch. Okay, so it says this is in. Oh, that's volume 2. I have volume 1 open.
And then it's the second book of Achee, right? After Enoch? Can't remember.
In Gokar Haram, it says that this is the order, and he tells us exactly how to have heaven on earth. Hold on. And he tells like the order that he gave it. So he says,
Makes more of that. Interesting. Trying like the order.
I think it was in Gokar. It might have been in this one.
Wow, the book helps your phone stand up perfectly.
Oh, remember when we figured out what priestcraft means? Do you guys remember that?
Yes. You remember the piece graphic?
Really,
Yes.
Lily?
That was right.
Excuse me. Sorry.
You can say excuse me.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't like that. At least say excuse me. You can't help but to burp, but you could say excuse me. I'm trying to think of which page it was in. Mm. Okay, where were we at, Mimi? Do you remember what priestcraft means?
Yes, when a priest or people that teach of God, they ask for money in return of.
That's part of it.
Oh, yeah. There are more things to priestcraft, but
Can you exit?
yes, I can. Let me see.
Press that X right there. Oh, Diamond Mama said hello to me. I didn't see her. I'm sorry. Hello. Okay, so I found it again.
Yeah.
Stop people being higher. Look. So I found it again because this is going to take a little bit. So there's going to be people that's not going to stay. But it says, and God said, so I can live in the midst. He said, hold on, wait. Let's start right there. The definition of priesthood is when a man participates with Christ in the process of intervention to accomplish the will of the Father by his walk in righteousness. Hold on, wait. I thought that is simple. I hope I'm doing it right. Exercising agency is different than intervening with it. Exercising agency is to do the works of repentance, and walking in perfection of way leads to works of repentance and righteousness, which allows man to have dominion over the earth. Righteousness is having a relationship with element and using it according to which specific feeling of Christ gave it life in its creation. The Lord went on to say, when man's reasons for me to have a son overshadow my reasons to have a son, sin lies at the door. And immediately my mind raced with questions, and I said, Lord, what are man's reasons for you to have a son? I mean, he's talking about what now, like, kind of what the church teaches about why they feel like God had a son. Their interpretation, basically, is what he's saying. And he said, the plan of salvation. And for the life of me, I couldn't bring to mind any other reason why he should have a son. And then I thought, oh no, sin is at my door because I don't even know any other reason. And so he goes, but I was trying not to think that so he wouldn't know. I couldn't think of any other reason. So I finally said, Lord, what are your reasons to have a son? See, that was wise to ask instead of being like, oh, this is the reason. And God said, so I can live in the midst of my children. Yeah. So that I can see how you live and stuff. And be a father to them. And thus, I can have the joy of participating with them as they live out the vision of their created purpose unto the fulfillment of all creation. I felt a little relieved at hearing this, as I knew I spent considerable effort to assist folks in finding and living out their visions. So I said, Lord, what is the sin that lies at the door? And God said, priestcraft. So I'm about to tell you, Keisha, and remind you what priestcraft is. Yes, and I just thought, what is priestcraft? And the Lord said, when people only think of what they can get from me and never think of what they can do for me, that is priestcraft.
That makes sense, though. It does.
And then it says, or, there's more. Or when all they want from me is the means whereby they can avoid guilt in this life and feel assured of a happy and secure afterlife, that is priestcraft as well. So, like, it means, like, when people go to repent, but they know they're going to do it again, and, like, they're not doing it because they really feel that in their hearts that they're really sorry about doing it. It's not, like, making them feel bad, but it's because they feel guilty for doing that. And so whenever they repent, it makes you feel better. You know, kind of like what Eve did with the tree. Okay, so he said that's priestcraft as well. Or when people who profess to know me offer to others the prospect of salvation so that they may obtain the glory of the world and get power and wealth. That is priestcraft. So people, it doesn't matter if it's a pastor, it doesn't matter who it is, if they're even on lives or like on social media too, and promoting God, right? But their main like thing that's in their mind is to like either get followers, to get likes, to get recognition. And you know, when people do things like that, it's like the equivalent of, you know how people were going around and they were doing videos and they were putting like homeless people on there and they were like putting them on blast and being like doing all that, and God tells you all the time like you've already got your reward. So it's better to do something, like if you're going to do something charitable, it's better to do it in secret, right? Okay, so here's another one. So that one is priestcraft to get wealth. So like, you know, when I told you about the offering plates and like different stuff like that, like as a righteous man or woman, bringing the word of God, your main focus is not to, I'm going to see how much money I can get this Sunday so that I can make sure I can go fly my jet. Or I need to pay off this mansion that I just bought. Like, there's a lot of, like, when I was watching, so there's, like, this governor, like, they go up to the Senate, or, like, they get audited. And, yes, they get audited because it's supposed to be a 501c or something like that. It's like they don't have to pay taxes and stuff like that. But also, it's a business, kind of, in a way, right? So when they get audited, they're like trying to figure out, okay, so why did you need $5,000 for all this Gucci stuff? And they're like, you know, and they have to explain it. And I watch them like trip over their words or say, oh, I don't know, I don't deal with accounting or something like that. And that doesn't even make sense. Like, you're the pastor, you're the one that's over the church, and these are debits on your accounts, you know? So it's like, it was so weird to see like a lot of pastors that were basically doing this form of priestcraft, but you see there's two more above it, but there's more. So that's priestcraft. But when people love me and have compassion on me and desire above all things that I should have the desires of my heart, then will they honor my reason to have a son, which is Christ. Then they will understand the real reason why I had a son. And they will strive to see that their fellows are persuaded and find opportunity to discover the vision of their created purpose. And they will promote with all the energies of their souls that their fellows should be virtuous and repentant and walk in perfection of way and stand upright before me, insomuch that they may discover their visions. Then are they acknowledging my reason to have a son. And then they stand as priesthood before me of the highest order. At this point, I had to stop and ponder things, but in a little while I said, Lord, help me to be able to understand what religion is to you. And God said to me, my reason for man to have religion is so that they may find opportunity as they worship together to discover their visions, and that by making religion a way of life, they may in community live out their individual visions, thereby bringing to fulfillment all my creation and the purpose of my being in the elements of the earth. To this day, I am amazed how I took all this in, and so matter-of-factly, when such definitions directly from God are so grand to those who argue religion. This book does not address issues of our modern day. It is not written to scripturally justify any theological position or interpretation of the Bible. It is simply a view of the ancient world transmitted by modern language. The difficult task throughout was to as little pollute that expression as possible with my own views and modern thought processes. So, okay, so where we left off was Noah was building the ark, right? Mm-hmm. And he was building the ark because Noah got to the point, I think, where he stopped kind of praying and like he had to look away. He had to turn away because so many things were happening where he came from that were so horrible. It's like today, like you see all the news and stuff, and there's times that I told you I can't watch it anymore because I started having nightmares about it. I started dreaming about babies being like just different things, and I just feel like I need to avert my eyes from the ugly because it's so much ugly, and I can understand Noah not wanting to look down at it. You know what I mean? It's not like he had anybody really to talk to because he was kind of an outsider. Like a lot of people call themselves the black sheep. Well, he was an albino, and so like he was different from others because back then there was a majority of like brown people, right? So I can see him going off by himself, being closer to God, being closer to the elements and the angels, and being able to understand God's heart, like feeling those things, you know, and giving it to him. So God tells him to build an ark, and they dwelt in a high country with Kabodio in abundance, meaning trees in abundance. So God told him to use the trees, right? So And was he using the element of wickedness? No, because he was doing what God told him to do. Right? So cutting down a tree is not bad if you're doing it for what? Shelter? Or to do what God told you to do.
Yes.
Now, what we're doing now, just cutting it because, you know, like an excess, and there's people that don't even live in those homes and different things like that. That's kind of using an element of wickedness, because you're not doing it because you need it. You're doing it because you want to make money.
Yes.
Okay. So he had Shem, Ham, and Japheth as well, and the others all built the ark under the guidance of Noah, and no man even knew what transpired with their task of building. Now there had been in the days preceding the flood violent quaking of the earth, and the animals had changed their normal habits. This is for 16. I don't think we got to 16 yet, so I'm going to finish and get to 16, and then we'll go to volume 2. But I don't even know where it says see Milik. Milik. I don't know. Page 240.
Let me see if I can find it. I don't know.
See if it's like a book or something. If it is, I'll download it so I can see what it's talking about, because it's a precept. Okay, and it says, and we're moving about seeking comfort. And Noah, with a prayer of righteousness to the Lord in behalf of Shemael, began to gather them together. Who's Shemael?
Okay, we're about to look it up.
I know I'm looking at who this angel is, because it doesn't say, and I don't think I wrote it on the side the last time I read it, and we're going over it to. I don't think I wrote it on the side the last time I read it, and we're going over it to Shemael. Oh, the animals. Okay. The work of God. Okay, so it means the repentance to approach is for selfishness and lying visions. It's the body of the pure love of God and the guardian of companionship and friends. That's cute.
That is cute.
So Shemael is the angel of animals and also the guardian of companionship and friends. That's cute.
That is cute.
So Shemael is the angel of animals and also the guardian of companionship and friends.
Yes. Wait.
Like, right? Because man's best friend, companionship.
Yes.
Yeah.
The time is 2:01.
Okay. Huh?
The time is 2:01.
Oh, that's cool. You can look that up if you like. Okay, 16. And it came to pass that as the time neared for the flood, Noah, not knowing just when it would be, took out the records of Enoch and found among them a water tablet written by Enoch that had been preserved and had down for the time that the earth would be destroyed by water. Okay, this is interesting. So this is what it's talking about. The water tablet. I have a water tablet, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to use it, but the water tablet. It says. So this is volume 2. Let me see. Page 70. I guess I read the whole thing, huh? Okay. I'm gonna go up a little bit. The testament of Noah, avoid fornication, blood pollution, and injustice. This is what it says. I'm gonna make this bigger, and then I gotta highlight it too.
Okay. Find.
No, it's in the folder actually.
Oh.
I'll grab it in a second. But okay, so in the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to command his grandsons with ordinances and commandments and all the judgments which he knew. And he bore witness to his sons so that they might do justice and cover the shame of their flesh, and bless the one who created them, and honor father and mother, and each one love his neighbor, and preserve themselves from fornication and pollution, and from all injustice. For on account of these three, the flood came upon the earth. So because of fornication. What's blood pollution?
Oh,
What does that mean? Like eating blood?
maybe.
Like, you know how people eat raw steaks and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's.
Do you think
like,
that could be that too?
Real quick so I can look up.
No, it might tell me right here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna keep reading. For it was because of the fornication which the watchers, apart from the mandate of their authority, fornicated with the daughters of men and took for themselves wives from all whom they chose and made a beginning of impurity. So here's this is fornication. And they begot sons. They call it in the pseudepigrapha the Nephilim or the Nephilim. And all of them were dissimilar. And each one ate his fellow. So cannibalism.
Oh.
The giants killed the Nephil, and the Nephil killed the Elio. And the Elio, mankind, and man his neighbor. So the Elio ate mankind, which is man, and then the mankind ate his neighbor. Meaning we would eat each other, or some of our ancestors ate each other.
Okay, I understand that, but that's
Okay, well, that's what's happening right now. Remember, they have restaurants now that serve human meat.
That's so.
And it's totally normal for them. Okay, and they also have First Enoch. You want to grab that book? Mm-hmm. There's precepts for this. You can go to First Enoch. I guess chapter 7 and verse 1. But it's just talking about fornication. I wanna hear about the eating.
Yes.
First Enoch is that brown book that I showed you that has the Book of Enoch for 1, 2, and 3, and I think it's like I can't even remember, dude. Can you just bring it to me? Because I've been studying all day with tech school.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay. So I think it would be best to do 86, chapter 86 and 4, and 88 and 2. That'll give 2 witnesses. Hello. No.
Oh.
It's brown and it says Enoch. It's by B. Lumpkin. Joseph B. Lumpkin.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I see it.
I wonder who the Elio are.
That's what I'm trying to.
The giants killed the Nephil, and the Nephil killed the Elio. Do you think it would be in the concordance?
Maybe, but like if you get the concordance, it's on the floor. Here it is. I'm sorry.
Come on. May. Yes, that's it.
Sorry, I'll go get the concordance.
Do you want me to read it? You want me to read it? I got so many books open. Hold on.
Sorry.
All right. So 86. Passed it. Ooh, what's that? Did you see that? There was something.
What was it? Oh my.
The Enochian alphabet? Or is it? Yeah, that's what it said. Cool. All right. 86 and 4. Thought I was there. Oh, passed it again. I think I got distracted by the lettering. You know, I like different lines. I'm like, ooh, celestial writing. Ooh.
It's okay.
You're fine. It's just my ADHD. 86 and 4. So it says, and I looked at them and saw they all let out their private members like horses and began to mount the cows of the bulls, the oxen, and they all became pregnant and bore elephants, camels, and asses.
I'm not gonna say anything.
What? Hold on. What?
But how do you do that?
Oh my gosh.
What now?
It said, let me start at 3 because this gives more context, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It says, and again I saw in the vision, and I looked towards heaven, and behold, I saw many stars descend and cast themselves down from heaven to that first star, and they became bulls among those cattle and pastured with them. And I looked at them and saw they all let out their private members like horses and began to mount the cows of the bulls. And they all became pregnant and bore elephants, camels, and asses. This is what this says. The Book of Jubilees indicates that the offspring of the angels in women were somehow different. The Book of Jubilees indicates that the offspring of the angels in women were somehow different. They are divided into categories of the Nephilim, or the Nephilim, depending on the transliteration, the giants, and the Eljo. Nephil are mentioned, but this is the singular of a Nephilim. The word Nephil means the fallen. So the angels, so the fallen angels would eat. Hold on. No.
No.
Okay, so the giants. Hold on. So what? Go over there and eat, please. There is no indication as to the meaning of Elyo, but the word would indicate these are godlings, and are likely those referred to in the book of Genesis as men of renown. So like you know how the story of Hercules, and he looked like a normal man, but he had a lot of strength and stuff.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be like giants per se. It would be people who consider people extraordinary, right?
That would make sense.
Okay, so that would be the Elyo.
So they would be like superhuman. Almost.
Okay. And then the Nephilim were the ones that were born. Let me see. So the Nephilim are like a title.
Yes.
And it has the giants in it, the Nephil, and the Elyo.
Dude.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's what I'm understanding.
Mm-hmm.
They are divided into categories of Nephilim. One category being giants, another category being superhuman, and or not superhuman because they're not human.
Yeah, they're
so
super.
I guess what they would call superheroes.
Extraterrestrials. That's what I was thinking. Extraterrestrials. Like, oh my gosh, that is so.
Something like that. Nephil are mentioned, but this is the singular of Nephilim, meaning that would be the offspring that Cain produced when they did the whole drinking of the blood and having women bear.
Oh yeah.
The wicked children,
yes.
The wicked seeds, or Satan's seed, because he wanted to have children.
Yes.
And this is the way that he was going to have children.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and then so let's
There's so much.
Let's put this in. Okay, write this in a category.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're gonna put Nephilim, and that's the main category, and then we're gonna put it in subcategories. Sorry. Bear with me a little bit. I'm trying to get it. Maymay, I have pencils and stuff right here.
Sorry, Mom. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to get Zeke from coming in.
Well, like, where you go play with Zeke? Because you're not listening anyway. You're really not. Are you?
Yeah.
You don't ever listen.
That's got this good.
Okay, let's put these in categories.
Yes.
No. We're not writing on random paper. This is from Go to My Self-Study Book.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I want you to put a category of, or you can get the dry erase board.
Oh, that's
That would have been a perfect idea.
Yes.
And then we can keep it on there as like a bullet point. Because I need to get this straight because I thought there was only Nephilim.
Yeah.
But then I thought the Nephilim meant giants. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like that was the same thing, and I thought that men of renown was the same thing as well.
Yeah.
And I'm wrong.
So wrong. Like how they didn't tell us this.
All right.
In the
So
past.
right. So come on, hurry up. I want to get this done.
Yes.
Nephilim.
Yes, Mom.
Do you know how to spell that?
Yes. No, actually, can you spell that? I'm sorry.
Naph.
Naph.
Come on. Or I will write it. ILIM.
Mm-hmm.
And then put in parentheses beside it NAPHIDM. Naphidim. NAPHIDIM. And then put a line.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to do it perfect.
Yeah.
No. I said put it in parentheses. And then put a line underneath of it because we're making subcategories.
Yes. Sorry.
Put the dots.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The first thing is the first one that they mention is the giants. So put giants.
Yes.
Now put a line. No. Put a dash, Keisha.
Sorry.
Okay, use a different color. Thank you. Okay, so we know what giants are. Okay?
Yes.
Those are like giants were like 7 to what? 15 feet?
Yeah, they were gigantic.
Put it
Yes.
7 to 15 feet beings. That they were slow too. They were like mentally. You know?
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Okay. The next one was, you can go back to the red. The next one was the Elio.
How do you spell that?
Like it sounds, ELYO.
Wow.
You know, put it in lowercase. You put the giants in the higher case. I mean uppercase.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So they say the Elio. Let me see. So the Elio was talking about the godlings.
The godlings. So like godlike beings? Like super.
These are godlings and are likely those referred to in the book of Genesis as men of renown. Godlings or men of renown. We need to research those things more because I need to understand better.
Yeah. What
Okay, so the Nephil are mentioned, but this is the
Nephil?
singular of Nephilim, which means fallen.
So Nephil.
So, like, does that mean, what does that mean, singular, of the fallen? Like, does that mean
It's just them?
like Nephilim would mean plural, so Nephil would mean each individual fallen angel.
Are there different types of different?
Yeah, like how the righteous angels, they there's righteous angels that are over certain things. Do you think they lost those abilities, or do you think they still have those abilities, or just in a fallen state or distorted state? Okay, so put Nephil is the singular understanding of Nephilim. You know how it's right there. N-A-P-H.
Sorry.
Did you do it? Okay, and it means like one fallen angel. That way we understand. I would really like to know what godlings means.
It sounds like, I don't know. Like, it's so...
Because look, so there must have been some angels who came in unto to women, but there were also the time when before the second falling, right?
Yes.
Or the second war, or whatever you want to call it. They, like, Satan was in the garden, right?
Right.
And then they had got expelled from the garden. And when they got expelled from the garden, he had taught Cain to bring, like, to use sorcery, or what they said, the occult, and they would drink menstrual blood or blood from men, like babies or whatever. They would drink blood, like kind of like what the Illuminati do now, or whatever you want to call it, but kind of like that. But they would drink blood. And they would be able to they would be able to use the element of wickedness to create a child that Satan can claim as his, or maybe could even influence or possess.
Oh,
you know, like where the
like
fallen can, like, walk, maybe. Yeah. I feel like when they were shape-shifting into other beings, right?
Animals.
And they started having sex with women. That's where the giants came from.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're two different things.
That would make sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So the giants would eat
people.
Hold on. We're going to put it, that next one, it can be a different color. Okay. So the giants, it says the giants, where is it? Okay. The giants would kill the Nephil. And the Nephil would kill the Elio. And the Elio would kill mankind. And mankind would kill his neighbor. And everyone sold himself. You know how to write that. And everyone sold himself. We're on verse 23. We're in the Book of Jubilees in the Pseudepigrapha on page 70, verse 23. Sorry. And everyone sold himself in order that he might do injustice and pour out much blood. And the earth was full of injustice. That's interesting, the word that they use. And everyone sold himself in order that he might do injustice.
Yeah. Like selling your soul.
You might not be wrong. And afterward they sinned against beasts and birds and everything which moves or walks upon the earth. And they poured out much blood upon the earth. And all the thoughts and desires of men were always contemplating vanity and evil. And the Lord blotted out everything from the face of the earth on account of the evil of their deeds, and on account of the blood which they poured out in the midst of the land. He blotted out everything. And we were left, I and you, my children, and everything which entered with us into the ark. And behold, I see your deeds before me, that you have not been ones who walked in righteousness, because you have begun to walk in the paths of corruption. And each one of you will be separated from his neighbor, and this one will be jealous of that one. And I see that you will not be together. O my sons, each one with his brother. For I see and behold, the demons have begun to mislead you and your children. And now I fear for your sakes that after I die, you will pour out the blood of men upon the earth, and you will be blotted out from the surface of the earth. For all who eat the blood of man, and all who eat the blood of any flesh will be blotted out, all of them from the earth. And no man who eats or sheds the blood of man will remain upon the earth. And neither seed nor posterity will remain alive for him under heaven, for they will go down to Sheol, and into the place of judgment they will descend, and into the darkness of the depths they will all be removed with a cruel death. And let no blood from any of the blood which is in anything be seen upon you on the day when you sacrifice any beast or cattle or what flies upon the earth, but do a good deed for yourselves by covering that which will be poured out upon the surface of the earth. And you shall not be like one who eats with blood, but beware lest they should eat blood before you. Cover the blood, because thus I was commanded to testify to you and to your children together with all flesh. And you shall not eat living flesh, lest it be that your blood, which is your life, be sought by the hand of all flesh which eats upon the earth. For the land will not be cleansed of the blood which is poured out upon it, because by the blood of one who poured it out will the land be cleansed in all of its generations. There are people that do this, that are eating raw steaks and raw, like they're eating blood, and it's an animal's blood.
And you're not supposed to eat any flesh's blood.
You're not supposed to eat any blood, because that's the life in it.
Yeah.
Like, we cook our things.
Yes, that's not...
This is the thing, but eventually I want to not, but that's real. Like, oh,
there are people that put blood in their pancakes and foods, and
that's horrible.
I don't think they're supposed to do that.
Well, they're still doing it.
Yep.
You know, the rest of this was so you can hear. And all the bulls feared them and were frightened of them. This is the males of the cows, okay? And began to bite with their teeth, and to devour and to gore with their horns. And moreover, they began to devour those oxen, and behold, all the children of the earth began to tremble and shake before them, and to flee from them. And again I saw how they began to gore each other and to devour each other, and the earth began to cry aloud. And I raised my eyes again to heaven, and I saw in the vision, and behold, there came out from heaven beings who were like white men. And 4 went out from that place, and 3 others with them. And those 3 that had come out last grasped me by my hand, and took me up away from the generations of the earth, and raised me up to a high place, and showed me a tower raised high above the earth. And all the hills were lower. And one said to me, remain here until you see everything that befalls those elephants, camels, donkeys, and the stars, and the oxen, and all of them. Chapter 88 falls those elephants, camels, donkeys, and the stars, and the oxen, and all of them. Chapter 88, because it said to go to 88 and 2. And I saw one of those 4 who had come out first. And he seized that first star which had fallen from heaven, and bound it, hand and foot, and cast it into an abyss. Now that abyss was narrow and deep and horrible and dark. 2. This is for 2 Peter. I guess this is a precept for this. 2 Peter. No, I got it. It says it right here. 2 Peter 2 and 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. You know, what do you think is going to happen to you, basically? Okay, now this is 2. And one of them drew a sword and gave it to those elephants and camels and donkeys. Then they began to smite each other, and the whole earth shook because of them. And as I was beholding in the vision, one of those 4 who had come out stoned them from heaven, and gathered and took all the great stars, whose private members were like those of horses, and bound them all hand and foot, and threw them in the abyss of the earth. Well, okay, yeah. Where were we? So I read that one. I'm on verse 17, and the first book of Achee, page 50, and it says, "And it came to pass that in those days Noah dreamed dreams of the suffering of Messiah, he having the task of redeeming so great wickedness back into the presence of God. And Noah would cry out in the night, and Zara, his wife, would try to comfort him." Zara means to be like fruit. "And it came to pass that Noah kept waiting for the Lord to intervene before this great wickedness. But it continued. After a long night of dreaming of the suffering of Messiah, he awoke and said, Selah, which is to say, it is enough. And he took his son, Shem, and he built an altar and called Ebedel to be his witness." That's the rocks, right?
Yes.
And Zara blessed the altar, which is his wife.
Mm.
So anointed it and everything.
Yes. That's amazing.
And he placed the water tablet upon his forehead, and for 22 days fasted and prayed in righteousness, he and his son before the Lord. 18. See Charlesworth? Okay, I'm going to finish this. "And he marked each day for 22 days as the works of righteousness. That marked the limits of suffering for Messiah, and each day he would proclaim Selah." Okay, I'm going to stop there. And we're going to go to 57. And it says, for the 22 aspects of creation. Read footnote Y. All right, page 57. Okay. "Everything which was on the earth, everything which sprouts from the earth, and every tree which bears fruit, and all flesh. These 3 kinds he made on the 5th day. And on the 6th day he made all the beasts of the earth, and all the cattle, and everything which moves upon the earth. And after all this he made man, male and female. He made them, and he gave him dominion over everything." So when he says man, he's talking about male and female. And he gave them dominion. They both had dominion on the earth. "Which was upon the earth, and which was in the seas, and over everything which flies, and over beasts and cattle, and everything which moves upon the earth, or above the whole earth. And over all this he gave him dominion. And these 4 kinds he made on the 6th day. And the total was 22 kinds. And he completed all of his work on the 6th day. Everything which is in the heavens and the earth and the seas and the depths and in the light and the darkness in every place." So he did, when he fasted for 22 days to signify the works of righteousness that God completed. So it says, read footnote Y. Y is right here. from Adam until him, Charles was able to restore Jacob on the basis of the parallel which is found in Epiphanius de Masuris et Ponderibus, chapter 22. That text goes on to point out that there are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet and 22 sacred books.
So there comes that.
Hold on, wait. In this English translation of 1902, Charles assembled an impressive group of ancient witnesses which shared the expanded tradition of Epiphanius. He was also persuaded that there was a lacuna at the beginning of verse 23. What the heck is a lacuna?
I don't know.
Alexa, raise volume to 100%. Alexa, what is a lacuna?
The noun, lacuna, can have a few meanings. 1. A gap or missing part, as in a manuscript, series, or logical argument, hiatus. 2. One of the numerous minute cavities in the substance of bone, supposed to contain nucleate cells. 3. An air space in the cellular tissue of plants.
Okay, so go home. Okay, so he was also persuaded that there was a lacuna at the beginning of verse 23 and proposed to restore it as follows. So there was like a break, like there was something missing. So you know how she said a hiatus, which means to pause or to have something that's missing maybe. And to restore it as follows, as there were 2 and 20 letters and 2 and 20 sacred books and 2 and 20 heads of mankind from Adam. Apparently Jacob and his seed, since Jacob is being likened to the Sabbath. It reads he at this point, but the other MSS, I don't know what MSS means, have they agreeing with the plural forms used for blessed and sanctified. A fragment of the Syrian, maybe that means Syrian text, begins at this point and continues through verse 2 and 25. So they're saying this is why he did 22 days. This is why. Because of the 22 aspects of creation.
That's a lot of meaning behind that.
Yeah, he put a lot of thought into giving something to God so that he could understand the water tablet.
That is amazing.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's interesting. I'm gonna put that right there. I gotta make a note because I'm sure, like, if Dad read this, he wouldn't understand what lacuna means. So I gotta make it so they do.
He'd probably try to give it a wild guess and then to think, something about a lagoon.
Yeah, a lagoon. Yeah. That's all right. Where is it? Right here. This one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There are people on there. It's so sweet, though.
I know. I see them.
I saw my brother came on here and said hi.
Aww. That's sweet.
Lacuna means I don't know how to spell that. A break, pause, or empty space. All right. And then we're going to put this. All right. So we're finished with that part. I think we stopped on page 50 in the first book of Achee.
Oh, should I show the board?
And also, when we were reading at Enoch, we were in page 1. You can read from page 116 to 118. Read as far as you want to. And here's the board. If you want, I don't know if they can take a screenshot of that. But if you can, take a screenshot of it. But it's just like a little diagram to see, to kind of understand what the difference is between giants, Nephilim,
And the Elyo.
the Elyo.
And the Nephilim.
No, they're the same as the Nephilim. They're just,
Oh, see.
Nephilim is plural, Nephil is singular. And it means fallen.
Right.
But I really don't understand, like, is it referring to an angel, or is that something different?
Yeah, we will have to definitely look more into it, because this...
It's very
We
interesting.
don't know what an Elyo is, like a godling is, and then we don't know...
Yeah, what is a godling?
Yeah, it sounds like something like a godling.
Because I remember in the beginning of here, they had the story of like where they came down and they fornicated, which means to have sex. But then also there was a time that Semihaza taught Cain how to bring in wicked seed through the devouring of blood, menstruation in particular.
Yeah.
Like when a woman's pregnant.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a righteous soul going into there, would that allow it to be instead
inhabited by a demon or a bad spirit?
Maybe a demon is like a lower angel. Like, you know how there's main angels and then their ranks fell with them?
Yes.
So what if that's what that is?
Oh.
But I'm not sure. So don't we're not going to just guess any, but
yeah.
All right. I hope you guys have a great evening. I'm going to go work out.